And we're live.
Hey guys, what's up? You're here with us at Queen's Landing. I'm your host, Melissa. My co-host is Gabby, and our guest this week is again Allie from the Young Folks. Say hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
So we're gonna be discussing Game of Thrones episode 6, Blood of My Blood. Let's get right into it, guys. We start this episode with Bran and Mira running from the walkers, and oh my God, somebody in a hooded black hoodie comes to save them. Did you guys know that it would be, spoiler alert, Benjen Stark?
I didn't know, but that has been a persistent hope of mine for just about any mysterious figure that ever shows up in the North since he disappeared in season 1 and since he disappeared in the book. So it's kind of a wish fulfillment moment for me because I didn't actually expect it to, but I'm always like, oh, what if? Because we never saw him actually die. But yeah, I didn't guess it.
I definitely didn't guess it because I didn't really know a lot about Benjen Stark. I mean, he's mentioned in passing throughout the series, but never really in detail. So it was always one of those things that it kind of flew over my head. So when that hooded figure came by, I literally did not know who it was. And then I just looked on Twitter and people were like, "Oh my God, I bet that's Benjamin." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna assume that you're right," and they were.
Yeah, so in a way, we definitely got another Stark reunion. We got 2 in 1 season, guys. This is another show. This is not Game of Thrones. They're making us happy. This is not Game of Thrones.
Well, don't say that out loud.
I know.
I know.
Yeah, because I jinxed it. Yeah, I jinxed
Yeah,
it. It can all come falling down, but I still got my Stark reunions this season. And another spoiler alert, so what? He's basically half walker and half human, right?
I guess. I mean, they just stopped him before it could, really take over him.
Well, can I be, kind of book nerd for a second? In the books, he does meet somebody like Hold Hands, or I think that's his name, and everybody always assumed it was Benjen Stark also, but, they never specifically said it. Or maybe, oh, shit, I might have just been a bad book nerd. I'm pretty sure it's him who meets him. But yeah, there's a character called Hold Hands, and everybody assumes it's Benjen Stark. So it's cool that they did bring him into the series in a way that's kind of nodding to fan theories, which might actually end up being the truth. But at this point, it doesn't really matter since they're such separate entities. But yeah, I thought that was a really interesting touch, just as for my geek satisfaction. I guess.
I loved it. I thought they were so lucky. It was very convenient, but it was awesome because we finally get to see a character that we haven't seen since episode 1, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm loving that we're seeing. So I wonder if he'll inform Bran of even more things about the Walkers now.
I would assume so. I mean, because he would have the knowledge, and I think he's the ideal protector for someone like Bran. And I mean, yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where they explore it, and I kind of like that. I mean, I know everyone's kind of really excited and wary about the breakneck pace of this season, but I mean, I don't know. There is a really kind of satisfying part of it, they're finally answering questions that we've had since the beginning.
Definitely. Yeah. Speaking of questions, we finally got to see a glimpse of the Mad King. I was so hyped about that.
I totally missed that because I was looking at Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it was
it was really quick.
Yeah, it was really, really quick, but it was still really cool for my nerdgasm inside me, so I was really excited to see that.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch that, or hopefully someone screen capped it. I don't even know.
I'm sure there's plenty of people screen capped it already.
I'm sure there's a GIF being made right now for that.
Thank you, Game of Thrones fandom.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna head to Hornhill where we meet Sam and Gilly, meeting Sam's family. He has a lovely family despite his father. All right, and
man.
I was very impressed by his place. He has a mansion. I love his house. and the sister hooking up Gilly with a new outfit. And we got to see one of the few Valyrian swords, Heartsbane, as well.
That was okay. That was a setup moment. Like, that was so, like, shine a light on something that's going to be important in the future. Like, they literally silhouetted it on a wall. It's like, I loved it, though, because I was like, there's more of them. They're gonna take the wild, or the White Walkers or something. And I was, like, super stoked about it. It's the first time Sam's storyline away from, like, John has ever interested me at all.
I agree, because I feel like the Sam and Gilly scenes are kind of killing it for me. It's probably like my weakest storyline for me personally. I was just thinking this, for me, like the scene at Hornhill was just way too long. Like the dinner scene could have been like a minute. I just feel like because the purpose of that was to get the sword and to get the fuck out of Hornhill.
I'll be honest, I actually really appreciated the length of it because I feel like with Game of Thrones, especially past maybe like the first 2 seasons, there's a sense that the show feels need to check in with every single character that they've ever had in a given episode, so it makes their storylines kind of feel like they're really rushed. So like while Sam's not I'm not that interested in him, I was glad that the show finally dedicated a chunk of time to like give a story some weight, because there was another storyline tonight where, it was the one with the Benjen reveal, where it just kind of ended and it was such a big reveal and you felt like they could have given that like till the end of the episode almost, instead of rushing it to give Daenerys her scene. So like, sure, I don't really care about Sam or Gilly, but I care that the show felt the need to actually like let a storyline breathe for once. And it was still probably maybe like 5 minutes. You know? That's kind of ridiculous.
I think because he was just like, the father was just like sitting there ranting like about literally the same thing for 5 minutes. And it was just like, okay, we get it. I think what made it hard to watch was just like Sam not saying anything, and then we get that relief once Gilly stands up for him. Yeah. And I mean, it's just I liked it. And again, the reason why I liked it was because of Heartsbane, because I finally understood the purpose of the storyline.
That's what I said. It's like, finally, there's a storyline, and let's move along. Let's get out of Horns.
So when he like mentioned the sword, I was like, ooh. And then I was just like, when they were leaving, I was just like, he better stop for the sword, and he did. And I'm like,
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, were you guys surprised that Sam said, "Never mind, Gilly, you're coming with me"?
No.
I mean,
that's the way they set it up.
I was, because I mean, you know what got weird was like he left the room and they were staying on her, and I'm like, why are they staying on her for so long? Like, they should be cutting to whatever's next. And then he came back, and I'm like, okay, but I guess. I mean, I'm not surprised by it, but at the same rate, I'm like, at that point, I didn't really care anymore, because I was like, oh, there's a sword in that house. They got to get it.
I fully thought that he was going to leave her there, but I guess he knew what we all knew as the audience, that she probably is not going to be safe there with a wilding racist father who is probably not really going to take care of her and her baby. So I'm happy that he took her along with her, but I'm still kind of worried about her safety, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, wherever they're going is not going to be... I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
As a general rule of thumb, I'm always worried about the safety of women on this show. But again, since the season has done all right, I'm hoping I don't have to worry about it. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm like, it's not so bad yet.
I know. Another knock on wood moment. Like, please don't let it get bad.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of women, let's go over to one of our favorite Stark women over across the Narrow Sea in Bravos. And here's Arya and her storyline. It's the end of no one. I can't believe she didn't follow through.
I can't. I knew she wasn't going to.
But she went there to become a faceless man, Gabby. She should have just followed the order and killed the actress. Who cares?
I don't know. I feel like she went there to become that, but she went there to become that just so she could get revenge on people. You know, like, she didn't go there with, like, an idea of, like, what she really wanted to do and why. She went there purely on, like, a vengeance sake, and she had nowhere else to go. And I think this was her turning point of seeing, like, I can't be the deciding factor of who lives and who dies. And I thought that
Yeah.
was really interesting. And another storyline tonight that deserved 2 more minutes. Just
No,
like,
yeah, like
where's
I would
the
have rather see
writing?
her storyline longer than like I'd rather have them cut down Sam and Gilly and make Arya's longer. But I just feel like she has learned a lot of skills, but maybe she wasn't done learning them yet because she didn't follow through with her mission. So I feel like she's going to be missing some of the weapons she could have used in her arsenal. So that's why I'm kind of disappointed that she didn't end up following the mission that she was set out with.
But don't you think that they're hinting at the fact that she is going to use some of the skills that she learned when she blew out the candle?
Yeah, some of the skills, but I'm saying is I feel like she probably didn't learn all of the skills that she could have learned if she followed through with her mission. Where did she hide, by the way? Sorry,
I
side
don't
note.
know. That's why I'm so frustrated.
I know, I want to see her scenes.
And it was like a cave or something.
I know.
I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. I think her going to Bravos and learning was more than just her learning a set of skills. I think it was her kind of, I think she went there with the purpose. I mean, yeah, to get those set of skills, but also to kind of find something, I don't know, find something to kind of like streamline her purpose. And then she realized that her purpose is so attached to her identity that to give up her identity is to lose her purpose. And that's why I knew she wasn't going to go through with it. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, totally. I get that. Yeah, because like I feel like who she is too far ingrained in her to ever become a part of like a silent group. You know, she's
Hmm.
like even she stood out even amongst the Starks. So I feel like the idea that she had to fit in and become a faceless, like identityless person, like you just said,
Yeah.
seems
I mean,
against what she did. But again, I am coming at this from like a couple point of views, and we spent so long in the books with her training,
yeah.
like so long, and like where every chapter would be like named who her like identity was. So it'd be just like Cat, and I would just be banging my head against the wall, ready for it to end. Like, so yeah, no, like it's a really interesting storyline, but I totally thought it was all set up for her to go and like kill Cersei or something, crazy.
That's what
Hmm.
I was hoping for. And I always thought that she wouldn't truly become no one in the end. But I feel like I probably expected her to kind of stay there a little bit longer. But since we are at episode 6 already, I guess, it's probably time for her to already get out of there and do her purpose. And I wonder where the hell she's gonna go now.
She
Especially
met with the
I'm
Starks.
disappointed. I'm disappointed that Jacques and Hagar told that little bitch waif, yeah, go ahead and kill her, it's fine. I was disappointed.
Well, he said nicely.
Oh, but he
Don't let
still
her hurt.
said to
What did he
kill
say?
her.
Like, don't make her
Let her
suffer?
suffer.
Oh, he said let her suffer?
No, don't let her
Don't let
suffer.
her
Don't let her
suffer.
suffer. But you know that waif was gonna let her suffer because she doesn't like her. She's a hateful little hater.
Yeah, which they've been setting up so well this season, so that when Arya, kills her, everybody's like, yes.
Yes.
Like it's been totally like scripted to lead to this point. But yeah, I don't. The waif, great. Like she's a character. Whenever she's like beating the shit out of Arya, I was like, Arya, get up, fix this. But yeah, no. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I want her to go meet up with her Starks. Since again, it seems like a trip around Westeros takes a second these days, which is fine for the purpose of
Yeah.
speeding up storytelling. Like I'm totally okay with it because it makes it more interesting. But I'm also like, how did you get there? Like you don't all have dragons. Like this is ridiculous. So I'm gonna ignore it because the preview for next week showed again Jaime like place hopping, and I just can't get over it. I'm gonna have to like block it out and just like
Yeah.
ignore it, like actively ignore it.
See, like before this, like I never really paid attention to the fact that they were able to travel
Yeah.
so fast.
I noticed that. I was like, that didn't take you very long.
I mean, just because it's not like a real world, so I'm like, I guess I just was like assumed everything was just like 15 minutes away.
I don't mind. I know it's a thing that's like really dumb to kind of harp on, but it's just been so noticeable this season in particular, and it's been so noticeable that they're obviously trying to kind of accelerate some storylines because they don't have forever to tell these stories like George R. R. Martin does. So
Get in.
it's just funny to like see how they're kind of cutting a couple corners. you know? Like, and
Mhm.
again, fans, I don't actually mind that much because it leads to things like Sansa and Jon reuniting. But,
Right.
yeah, some
Yeah.
moments I'm like, how did Theon get there so quick? You know, the Iron Isles. But yeah, so it's fun.
Alrighty, so let's head over back across the narrow sea to King's Landing, where shit got down with the High Sparrow and Tommen and Marjorie and Tyrell army. What is going on there? What is going on?
That
Mess,
was the least interesting part for me. I was
definitely.
just like,
I was confused the majority of the time, but then once I guess you see, because at first I thought Marjorie was kind of turning in Tommen. I'm like, why are you turning him in? But then like it's really him becoming one of the sparrows, I suppose.
I mean, I don't know what that was either. I mean, I'm assuming Marjorie has a plan. I don't think she's that easily brainwashed. But
No. Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
definitely it's a play on her part.
I think she just wanted to get out of there without the stuff, and then she wants to save her brother.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
she's kind of
that.
playing them, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really understand though where it's heading, and I'm just so sick of the High Sparrow that like I just kind of like shut down whenever I see him.
Yeah. I'm so sick of a lot of the characters over in King's Landing, and it's so weird because they used to be some of the most interesting ones. And like now, whenever Cersei and Jamie's in a scene together, I'm just like, ugh,
Ugh,
like God,
they're
Jamie was so much more
finally,
interesting when you were with Brienne, you know, like
Yeah,
finally,
so.
they're
Yeah, I'm
finally
just
gonna separate.
yeah, I'm so uninterested in them too. And like the High Sparrow like provided really interesting drama for like maybe 2 episodes, and the idea of Tommen kind of foolishly trying to merge royalty and the crown with
Mhm.
religion is interesting conceptually, but I don't know if it really makes for good TV. So,
I feel like it was to show the savviness sort of Marjorie. I mean, it was really because I don't think she's brainwashed at all. She's always been a major player in this Game of Thrones, and I think that was her way out to save herself and her brother, and also since she's not best friends with Cersei, this is kind of a play against Cersei as well. So I think it's probably a long game with her.
I guess so. But the other Tyrells certainly didn't look pleased about it.
Yeah, they had no idea what was going to happen. So,
I
so
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
that's what's happening.
I guess I'm just Tommen. I mean,
It's a little
yeah, it's
idiot.
just the King's Landing stuff has just really gone stale, and I think maybe since like Tyrion left, honestly, because he was like, he was always stirring the pot. So without them there, it's just, yeah,
Him and Tywin
yeah,
too. Tywin was a formidable, like
Yeah.
not even a villain, but he was an antagonist on the show that you believed could get shit done, and like was his threat was obvious.
hmm
Whereas Cersei and Jaime just kind of rage privately to each other about how much they hate everyone and they'll all pay, but they don't do anything to do it.
hmm
And Tommen is a child. So it's like, who's there that actually proves to be any kind of threat to the outside world, like other than what King's Landing itself? So I don't
right.
know. I agree. Once Tyrion and by virtue Tywin left, less interested.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just leave the boring King's Landing story behind and go on to Walder Frey with his tiny little scene. Thought it was interesting. We got to see somebody from Outlander time travel to Westeros. Got to see Jack Black.
I forgot he was in this show.
Yes,
Okay, I was
yeah.
like,
I remember he was the one that got married instead of Robb, and that pissed off Walter Frey, and that's the reason why they had the red wedding, along with other stuff. And yeah, so now he wants. So then it ends up being true what Littlefinger said, that the uncle, the great uncle Blackfish, has overtaken River Run, and they want to take it back. And so Walder Frey is sending his soldiers to take it back. But that's also the place where Brienne is going, and that's also the place where Jaime's going. Stuff is gonna get popping up in the Riverlands.
I'm excited for that, honestly. I think it's finally good to revisit a place we haven't been in a while and
Yeah.
see a few characters interact, and especially, hopefully, Jaime and Brienne, because they got a history. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how that all plays out. So I think, well, that scene, I mean, it took me a while to kind of figure out what was going on in that scene because, again, I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah. I like where it's leading. So
Mhm.
that's all I could say. And then the surprise that they kept the cousin. He was Rob's cousin, right?
He was
He was.
Catelyn's brother.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm
yeah,
surprised they kept the same actor.
yeah. I mean, why
I thought
not?
he'd be busy in Outlander. That's why.
Well, yeah. I don't think it's that busy. I think they can work it out. Plus, it's a small role compared to like.
That's cool. I think that's super cool. He gets to work on both shows. That's money in his pocket. And lots of fans.
I've seen a lot of him this week 'cause he was in The Night Manager and then
Oh.
Outlander and then this. Sorry, bring. I was just like so much.
He's an in-demand actor now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm excited for that. So I'm again curious. See
Cool.
where.
So hopefully more exciting scenes in River Run next week.
Mhm.
So then we close out the episode with the Khaleesi herself, Daenerys Stormborn, who obviously knows when her dragon is near. I loved how she got the Khalasar riled up. And I loved how she said, who has she was like, appropriate. I love it.
I'm reenacting the scene. Okay,
Yes.
guys.
Mhm.
Say hi.
That had some similar CGI effects.
Yes. I love how she was like, who has 1,000 ships? And Dario's like, nobody. But then the audience knows, well, who do we know is building 1,000 ships?
I was like, yeah, I was like that too. I was just kind of like, okay, well, we know they're coming. It was just kind of like one of those moments. Really?
Really? I really did not even think about that until right now. I'm dumbfounded.
Seriously?
Seriously. Oh my god, it went straight over my head. Maybe because I was like, ugh, Danny. But like, yeah, oh my god. No. But okay, I'm fine now. Also, that realization has come to me. Good.
Yeah, that's what I thought right away. I'm like, oh yeah, they got the salty people on the way.
Salty people are building 1,000
The
ships.
damn people.
And she is the face that sailed 1,000 ships. That's
Helena Troy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they do kind of make her feel Helena Troy-ish.
No, yeah.
Yeah, so.
I mean, I thought it was a really cool and important scene because I know that the Dothraki don't trust in the ocean because their horses can't drink it, so they call it the poison water. So that was kind of her way to convince, because again, you always have to prove yourself strong with these people, and what's stronger besides being the untoasted? What's stronger than a woman who's riding her dragon right then and there, and who's letting them know there are these people across the narrow sea. I want them to die, and please follow me. Please follow me across the poison water. So that was a good play on her part.
But aren't we sick of her giving speeches? Or is that just me?
I think that's what she does.
Really sick of it.
Yeah, but I think it was necessary so that they can follow her across the sea.
I know, but I mean, like, narratively. It's like they only give her moments like this. And I don't know if it's because they don't trust us to, like, care enough about, like, the inner characteristics of her or whatnot. Or they just, because they just need to distract the audience with, like, look, a dragon. Like,
a dragon!
Yeah. I feel like they kind of have to fall back on her strongest suit. And that is her strong suit, which is saying these motivational speeches and making people follow her.
I feel like they use her for sound bites. It's like they use her just for the line that's going to go in the trailer. Like, I feel like they need to start giving her something a little bit more, because while it's really awesome and empowering to see her get those really strong moments where she's, like, leading an entire army, it's also really interesting to see, like, her inner workings and character development, which I feel like we haven't gotten for 2 seasons. But
yeah,
I agree there. I definitely think that, yeah, they kind of do give her too many speeches. But, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just something I've gotten so used to. Like, today I was trying to reenact her entire name by memory, which I can't do, so don't ask me to do it now. Like,
Yeah.
just in her voice, in her, like, way she projects herself. And I don't know, I thought it was kind of funny, but... Yeah, I mean, when she did another speech tonight, I was not surprised, but I mean, I understand why, because she was, again, I mean, she's always in these situations where she's facing an army or a crowd of people, and maybe it's just like that constant need to prove herself to show them because she's a woman and they don't, trust her. I don't know.
Yeah, and then things could change by the time that she gets to Marine. I mean, maybe she'll agree or disagree with this whole 7 years deal that Tyrion made with the Master. So we don't know if, sparks will fly or not there. So things could change pace for her there.
Well, yeah, I'm really curious to see how she reacts to that. Right, Daenerys, how are you going to react to that?
How are you going to react to that?
I'm putting this away.
Okay, so let's get into some segments, yeah? Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, so right here in Queen's Landing, we do our segments here every week, and our first segment is always the Reek of the Week. The Reek of the Week is somebody that we just disagreed with, that we don't really want to kill just yet, but that we just kind of annoyed by. We just think they kind of generally sucked. So, alrighty, so I'll go first. My Reek of the Week is Lord Randall Tarley, because he's a piece of shit father. He was making Sam feel this small, and I kept thinking, like, do you know that this kid has killed a White Walker? Do you know these things? Do you know that the king who thought he was king, Stannis Baratheon, told him, keep reading Sam Watari? Do you know these things? Because he knew he's important. He's an important person who will bring a lot of knowledge to Jon Snow, hopefully, and then help him defeat the Long Night, the second coming of the Long Night. So, Randall Tarley is my Reek of the Week. How about you, Gabby?
My Reek of the Week, sorry, is that, what's the girl's name? The Waif?
The Waif, yeah.
Yeah. I really hope she changes her mind about killing Arya.
I doubt she hates her.
I doubt it. Every week, my Reek of the Week is like a hopeless, like, thing that I choose anyway. So I'm keeping up with tradition.
Yeah.
I'm picking the Waif in small hopes that, I don't know, something will change, but I'm pretty sure Arya's going to kill her next week or whenever her story comes back. So, yeah.
I like that choice. I like that. How about you, Allie?
It's Tommen. My Reek of the Week is Tommen.
Okay.
Because
That's
he's
a good one.
stupid, and he's following, people's thoughts without giving it much thought himself, and he's easily swayed, and I just don't see the season going well for him if he doesn't turn shit around. Like, I would make a bet even that he might not make it to the end of the season if he keeps along going this way.
I don't think so either.
His children don't seem to fare well, especially when they've been given a position of power. So, yeah, Tommen was just frustrating. Because, like, it's like vacant. It's like he's not even the one giving himself these thoughts or opinions. It's Marjorie or the High Sparrow or his mother. He only, like, wants to pretend he has these, like, opinions and authority himself. Yeah. Any scene with him, I kind of just, like, shut down for a second.
Yeah. I also, I also kind of feel bad for him sometimes because he is so, like, the opposite of his brother. He's so sweet, but he is so easily played that is kind of useless in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agreed.
Okay, let's move on to our Lord/Lady Commander of this episode. This segment follows us, letting us know who we think is the MVP of this episode, who we thought owned it this episode, who we thought was generally awesome, amazing. Okay, so my Lord Commander of this episode is Benjen Stark, the half-walker, half-human himself, because he came up and through and saved his little nephew and Mira from the undead, And thank God he's not evil. So now we know that, like, if you're half walker, half human, at least we know that you're still kind of yourself, except you're just a little bit dead. So that's awesome. And I got to have my, huh?
So he's a zombie, essentially, isn't he?
A zombie with a conscience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
in the
that's
flesh type
that
zombie.
he's still kind of himself. He isn't completely, like, overtaken, thankfully.
Oh
And
my
then,
god. Sorry, I'm like totally reeling by my Benjamin Stark is a zombie thought.
and we got to see another Stark reunion, a second one on this one season. I'm still shocked by that. And yeah, he was a general badass. I loved it. How about you, Gabby?
My Lady Commander of the Week is Arya because she is no longer a girl who has no name or whatever that she was saying. She is Arya, and she's back to who we love. And I was just glad that she kind of had that moment, and I kind of liked how it played out when she interacted with the woman that she was set out to kill,
Mm-hmm.
and she had that change of heart. And I don't know. I'm just glad that she didn't give up who she is. I think that was like kind of really bugging me. So, yeah, she's my Lady Commander of the Week.
Cool. And you, Allie?
My Lady Commander is Gilly.
Whoa.
Because,
Dark horse.
yeah, right?
She was
Because
my
he stood
second
up for
choice.
Sam
Yeah.
in a really uncomfortable situation
Yeah.
that she didn't really want to be in the first place, that she
Mm-hmm.
kind of put there because of Sam in the first place, in front of a really hostile jackass who like was bragging about killing her kind, and she totally just owned it. Was a little nervous, but stood up for herself and Sam, and then didn't get mad at Sam because she understood why he would have been intimidated by his father. So yeah, no, totally Gilly. I was like totally.
Cool.
I've never really found her interesting at all, and I really
Me
liked the
neither.
actress on Skins, and I never thought she really kind of fit in this world very well, but I thought she did the more empowered version of the character really well.
That was a left field choice, but I like it. I like where your head's at. I didn't even think of that. Cool choice. Okay. Our next segment is when we get bloodthirsty, because our next segment is our Swing the Sword. Each of us have named our metaphorical swords, and we're going to swing it at somebody we just despise. We hated this episode. Somebody we want to finally just die. We're just sick of their shit. We want them gone from the show already. Alrighty. So my Swing the Sword is going to be Mr. Walder Frey, because whenever I see his face, I just think red wedding, and then I remember he took away my sweet, sweet Robb Stark.
Idiotic Robb Stark.
I love Robb Stark. Okay, don't care what you say. Love him, love him. Okay, so then he took him away, and I'm still very, very pressed about that. Super pressed about it. And I hopefully he dies this season. I'm hoping Sansa and Jon Snow come up with some kind of plan to take him out, because can't stand him. So that is my Swing the Sword. Oh, and my sword's name is Dawn, so I'm gonna swing Dawn at Walder Frey. How about you, Gabby?
My sword's name is Jeremiah, and my Swing the Sword is Sam's dad. What's his name again?
Randall Tarly.
Randall, yeah. Because he's an asshole and stupid. Because I think people who are just really close-minded like that, like, are literally the worst. And if you can't see the true potential over someone who reads a lot of books and how you can utilize them to make smart decisions, then you're a dumbass.
Yeah.
So,
I like the fire, Gabby. Yes.
yeah, I felt bad for him in that scene.
I know,
like,
and then he kept like shrinking in his seat
I know.
because he can tell that he's been verbally abused by his dad all his life. It's terrible.
Right. So, yeah, totally, he would be done.
Love it. Love your choice. And you, Allie?
It's the same. My sword. It always starts with Ginger, and I think this time I want it to be Ginger Fury. But yeah, because anybody who tells them, like, the idea of somebody telling you not to have another piece of bread and making like a fat comment just annoys me so much. So like beyond everything else that he did that annoyed me, that really grated. Because I feel like I would lose my shit. So I'm really simple, and he just really pissed me off from the get-go, and there was no returning, and if I never have to see the character again, I'd be pleased. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
I love the fiery bloodthirstiness of this session today. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Alrighty, so if anybody has any green sight, you want to chime in some green sight on the next episode or down the line of the season, you can go ahead and let me know now. I don't have any green sight, I don't think. I don't know.
My only thoughts are that this was a very moving pieces episode. It didn't really do much other than like kind of solidify where everybody's going. And I think this episode, more than anything else, started to form like what kind of ending armies we might be seeing before the big fight against what's to come, or the long winter, what's its face. And yeah, so seeing the fact that the Tyrells, the Lannisters, are kind of paired with the High Sparrow, seeing the Blackfish and the Freys and all those moving parts, seeing where Arya might be headed, I think more than anything, it's making, it's not really green sight, as I guess, like, an educated guess about where people are going. But yeah, I think just like seeing who's going to be fighting who, and yeah, where everybody's going to be when all this shit kind of goes down. But other than that, things like Benjen coming back makes me think that Bran's going to have a bigger part to play with the White Walkers. I think he's going to be really involved with them, actually.
Ooh. Awesome, and you?
Yeah, I totally, I agree. It's like a very kind of setting up, the next half of the season kind of episode, where you kind of touch base with a bunch of characters and see where they are and see what they're working towards. But yeah, I really like that idea that Bran is gonna work, like he's gonna be pivotal to the White Walkers plot. I think that's pretty much guaranteed, especially after last week's episode, and now he met Benji, who's part White Walker or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess that. I'm just like excited to see how things turn out based off on what happened in this episode. So, like I said before, like I'm curious to see how Daenerys reacts to Tyrion's decisions. I'm curious to see like where if Jaime and Brienne end up reuniting next week, if we're lucky again, and then yeah, that's about it. Because I don't know, my brain's kind of mush right now. I can't think of anything that like. What do you guys think they're gonna do with the Freys are gonna do with the guy, the cousin or whatever?
Maybe send him as sort of a decoy to the Riverlands? I don't know.
I think so. As a way to take back the castle, because it's technically his.
Yeah, exactly. So they've already tried sort of fighting the Blackfish. So maybe doing the opposite of that is the wiser choice. So maybe they're gonna do that instead.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Okay, this was a fun episode, guys. Cool. Alrighty, thanks you guys so much for joining us this week for Blood of My Blood, episode 6 of Game of Thrones. Join us next week. We're going to do this all over again. And make sure you leave us your theories and your comments. Leave us your own Reek of the Week and your own Swing the Sword and your lady/commander of this episode. Make sure you follow us on TYF Official. We live tweet the show. And you can follow me on Twitter, follow Gabby, and follow Allie on Twitter as well. And watch all our other episodes. You could binge watch it. Leave us any comments or tips. All that info is at the comments below, well, in the description below. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Good night. Bye.
Night.